You're listening to All the Pieces, a podcast created to keep you informed. Now here's your host, Chief Quality Officer, Dr. Karan Mohan.
Hello and welcome to another episode of All the Pieces. I'm your host, Karan Mohan. Life care, besides being part of our name, is more of an ethos that we like to have here at Mosaic. It's a value that encompasses integrity, equity, access, compassion, and everything in between. Life care is more than just health. It is all the good stuff, the bad stuff, and the not so pretty stuff either. And perhaps no one in this organization experiences the life care value more than my guest today. I'm very excited to have you here today, Amy.
Thank you.
And before we get started, please introduce yourself to people who might not know you, which is a shocker, I think.
Yeah, so my name's Amy Kennedy. I am the Patient Experience Coordinator for Mosaic Life Care. And what that really means is I support patients and their families, not just medically, but emotionally and personally, in their journeys, whatever that may be. And every day is different. Every day looks different. And some of them things may be navigating the services or resolving, a concern or just being a listening ear for the day.
Right.
So really the reason I'm here today is to share a story that was very impactful and really encompasses what we do at Mosaic Life Care and the heart of what we do. And it's really just showing how just a small act of kindness can make such an impact, especially at a vulnerable time in their life. So
Absolutely. Well, would you like to share that story with us?
Absolutely. We had a patient, the mom, that was here. She was admitted on 3 East. And she had a lung disease, and I actually met her husband and granddaughter in the little waiting room at the end. We instantly hit it off, and in that time, every day he just kind of updated me on his wife's condition, and just told me about his life and his kids. He also, in that process, had told me that he had a daughter that was getting ready to get married soon. And they were really worried that the mother, the patient, may not be there to be at that wedding. So that was a huge concern for theirs at that time. They were super hopeful because they wanted her to actually be moved to LTAC. But as the week went on, we found out it was going to be a little bit different.
Yeah. And that's tough when you have life events while you're in the hospital. Mm-hmm. As she was recovering from her illness, life doesn't stop.
Nope.
And it's one of those juxtapositions of things, celebrations on one end, health on the other end.
Absolutely.
So what transpired from you finding out that the wedding was coming up soon?
Yeah, so we had talked every day about the wedding, and honestly, we had talked about, since she was going to move to LTAC, to the wedding, we possibly could do. I had just suggested doing a wedding here at the hospital.
We have a beautiful chapel.
Yeah, we do have a beautiful chapel, but we realized that the mom wasn't going to be able to leave the room. Mm-hmm. So we talked through all that, and I said we could do it in the room. We'd make it, very, very special. So when we realized that she wasn't going to move at all, that's when we decided to do it in her hospital room. And everything just started falling in place very quickly, very, very quickly.
What resources did you have to gather to make this happen? Or was this all... you were on a mission to make it happen?
I was on a mission, but I honestly, of course I wanted to get permission and just make sure that this was okay with everyone. Of course, everyone was very, very supported, from administration to marketing. I contacted Joey, which then contacted Dan, said he would graciously come and...
Dan Medford?
No, actually, Dan that's here with us.
Dan Hernandez.
Yeah, yes.
Shout out to the cameraman behind the camera.
Yeah. And
we'll pan it out later.
And so he came. He said he would be available to come and film the whole entire thing, and do pictures for the bride and groom and the family, so they could have that as a memory.
Excellent. That is such a heartwarming story because it shows that at Mosaic that we not only care for the patient but about the patient, and that's the spirit that is coming from a well of compassion. And I'm so glad that you're a part of it. Who suggested moving up the wedding date?
The wedding date, the daughter was really worried because that was her biggest thing, was to have her mom be present at the wedding. The thought of not having your mom be there to witness you getting married, she really, really wanted that. And knowing her wedding was coming up in April, she knew that it was a possibility that her mom wouldn't be there, and she really wanted her to be present at her wedding and to be able to experience and have that memory with her. So it was really the daughter. The patient was she wanted the same thing. She wanted to attend her daughter's wedding, and so did the whole entire family. So everyone was really, really for having the wedding here as soon as possible, just because they knew that this, was a memory they wanted to have, a lasting memory.
Excellent. How many people were there total?
Yeah, so we had, they had a preacher come, and he was a great friend of theirs from Kansas City. So he came. It was the bride and the groom, and
obviously,
yes, of course. And then also their kids came and stood up with them. Each one of them had a son and daughter that stood up, so that was very special. Also, they had some family members in the room, and then we had, of course, all of the caregivers and care team outside of the room witnessing the whole entire thing, which was super special. The care team upstairs, caregivers were amazing. They actually were able to clean out the break room so the bride and groom could get ready before the wedding. And
that is awesome.
It was very awesome. And then when the wedding started, we actually started from the break room. The dad walked the bride across the hall into the patient's room. At that time, all the caregivers assembled around the room, and we all shed tears with them as they read their vows. So it was absolutely perfect. One of the things about the wedding is that because it was kind of a fast thing, because we were going to have the wedding, like I said, it was going to be in a couple weeks. And then when the pulmonologist and palliative care had talked to the father, the husband, that Friday, we realized it was super critical. And that's when he called in his family. And we immediately decided that we needed to do the wedding that night. So I found out at 1:00 that afternoon about that we were going to do it, and she wanted to do it at 6:00 that night. And so I was 100% on board. I said, we'll make this happen. And we just went to town. I ordered flowers, a bouquet, and boutonniere. And one of the special requests was the mother loved red roses. So everything was done in red roses. Went and grabbed some extra red roses to put around the room, and a cake and everything. And they did do a single red rose that the bride presented to the mother right before the wedding even began.
That is amazing. It
was wonderful.
Fast, and it was critical, and so many emotions at the same time. Mm-hmm. It is not something you see every day in the hospital.
No.
But I also think this is not the first wedding you've done in the hospital. Is that right?
It isn't the first wedding. It's actually the second wedding, and it was kind of coincidental. So the grandmother to this actually the mom, which is a grandmother to the other wedding I did. I know it's all together, but it's a little confusing. So it was the other grandpa at that time that was in the hospital, but yes, I FaceTimed the wedding for them. So I went to the wedding and did that one.
You are developing a side business as a wedding planner.
Yeah, I could absolutely do it.
So Amy, tell me, how does this event, or how this whole thing unfolded, represents life care?
Yeah, it's 100% a part of life care. It's about respecting the patient and their family's wishes and needs in this vulnerable time of their life. And honestly, it's really about creating that meaningful moment that hopefully they'll never forget. I know I'll never forget it. So, and I'm sure they won't either, because, we all talked about that after that, just how special it was, and that the family was so very, very thankful that we could do it, and they could have that memory till forever. And so, and like I said, the pictures and the videos and everything will always tell that story. But all of us that were here to witness it will always have that memory, including them.
And I'm so glad that you were part of that, to creating the moment for them. Mosaic, the family, myself included, we're truly blessed to have you in the organization.
Thank you. Thank you. It was super special because the patient just the next day was placed on comfort care.
Oh, wow.
And then I did come and visit with the family that morning and give them all of my love and support, and offer anything that they may need. The next day, that Sunday, the patient peacefully passed.
Wow.
So it was just 2 days later after the wedding took place. So I know, just how thankful they were to have that memory and that special moment. It was truly magical for everyone that was there. Like I said, the caregivers, even in the hallway, they were crying and saying, they felt like this was a part of their family. And here at Mosaic Life Care, I always say that you want to treat your patients just like they are a family. So, it was 100%. We were all that family, with that family that night.
Wow.
So
that is truly compassion in action. And I think that embodies palliative care.
Yes.
In the truest sense, to what matters to the patient and what matters to the family, and to have them pass away peacefully after having experienced the wedding. I think it's truly amazing.
It was one of the things that really was very touching that Saturday when I did come to visit the family. The mom was able to tell me they took off the BiPAP just for a brief moment, but she was able to tell me that it was beautiful and that she loved it. And she was able to communicate with them too, that. So just to know that she, treasured that moment as much as every single other person, and that her daughter will have that memory and that moment forever.
Yeah.
So.
Creating moments, creating memories.
Memories, yep.
Amy, thank you so much for sharing that experience with us and being a part of that family's amazing memory and the final hours for that patient. Thanks to all the leadership for their support, obviously, and thank you to Dan for being the amazing confidant and cameraman that he is. And I think I keep saying it over and over, this is the true embodiment of health means, and you're an example of that. So
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, we're going to wrap it up, folks. If you want to have any weddings in the hospital, Amy Candy is at your beck and call.
Absolutely.
But until next time, take care, brush your hair.